Hi friends, Jennifer here with Jen Open Hearts, and I am joining you from a truly magical day in Ann Arbor in Michigan. The spring life is buzzing and it just feels so good and so beautiful to be alive. And so for today's conversation, I wanted to talk a little bit about a topic that I think about often, which is what are the tools that we need to have on the path that can serve us during those times when we are feeling low, when we're experiencing depression or symptoms of heaviness, or we just feel a little bit lackluster, like life doesn't feel that good or that wonderful. And I'm speaking from the I space for all of my videos, and essentially it's just me figuring it out just like you're figuring it out. But something that's really served me is just coming back to awareness. So coming back into my body and noticing, how am I feeling right now? What's going on inside of myself? What does my emotions feel like inside of my body? And for me, the way that shows up is usually constriction or tightness, like in the chest space, or I feel kind of like, slumped down almost, like the weight of the world is pushing me down. And it's not until I actually bring awareness to like, wow, this is how this emotion feels in my body. Okay, what do I need to do? What's here? What can I do? Wow, it's like we go into these moments where we feel totally lost all of a sudden. And it's not that we're bad or we're incorrect or anything like that. It's just like, it's hard to navigate stuff like that. So how can we bring awareness to our body to help decode and understand and connect to whatever emotions or feelings or experiences we might be having? And so, like I said, for me, that's tuning into the body, just doing like a body scan, something like that, or just noticing what sensations am I feeling inside the body space, and knowing that I have tools that I can use. Like I like to call it, and I'm sure many people throughout human history have called it something, but it's like your spiritual toolkit. Like, what's in my toolkit? And it doesn't have to be spiritual, right? We can just use it as a word, but for me, that's what I call it. But what's in my toolkit that's going to help lift me when I'm in a difficult space, when I'm in a challenging space, when I'm feeling low, when I feel like the weight of the world is too much, right? These are not comfortable feelings, but when we realize, it's really important for us to connect to the present moment and trusting and knowing that we have tools, we have a system, we have things that are unique to ourselves and collectively to human history that can serve us, that can again lift us and shift us and bring us into the right way of feeling. So like for myself, when I'm feeling low, I panic inside my head, inside my mind, and I'm like, oh gosh, this hurts so much. Why is this happening to me? I can kind of creep back into victimhood mentality. And then I'm like, wow, I've been saying that same phrase in my head for way too long. Okay, let's look at this. This is my indication. This is my system. Everybody's different. I really tend to follow the emotional waves of myself and of other people. And so again, speaking from the I space, it's like noticing that that's there, okay, and then it's like, oh, I want to change that. So what do I need to do? What is actually in my power that I can help lift and shift that into a new wave, into a new way of seeing the world? And a lot of times it just comes back to literally being in nature. Like I was going to film today inside, and I was like, no, I should go outside. It's like so healing just to be on the earth, in the trees, in the shade, in the sun. And to me, listening to nature or being in nature, maybe listening to music that feels calm and relaxing, that's something that's in my toolkit where I'm like, I'm feeling bad, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling angry, frustrated, all these things. And it's like, what's in my toolkit today? What can I grab? Sometimes it's journaling where I'm like, I'm not even aware that I'm feeling this weird rift inside myself. And I'm like, I got to write about something because I'm feeling chunky clunkiness inside my heart space and it feels very uncomfortable. And so I'll write and I'll be like, oh my God, that's what it is. Or my husband will be like, something's not right. We need to talk, So it's like, we really need to try the best we can to use our own awareness to help us sort of wake up into what and how we could feel and how we can look at our life circumstances almost more objectively, right? It's like not that it's not personal, it kind of is, kind of isn't, but it's like, how can we shine a light on it and just kind of be a curious investigator? Like, oh, I'm feeling sad because I wanted things to happen this way, right? Oh, it's hard to feel sad. Nobody likes to feel sad. So how can I reframe myself to look at that experience in a different light, right? It's like reprogramming your thoughts or reparenting yourself, or trying to see the glimmer of light, the silver lining, instead of that human tendency to be like, the negativity bias, like, oh, we got to know what the really, really bad thing is so that way we don't do it again. So it's like knowing that that's there and being okay with that negative space that can exist, right? That observation. And then we can say, oh, that's interesting. Okay, moving on. So for me, I really, really try to discern the best I can and to really come back to my toolkit. I actually have an album on my phone that's called Happy, and I'll just look at it from time to time if I'm feeling a little bit down, or, that's one of my tools. Another one is to call someone or to talk to someone and to not really focus on my problems or the things that are going on in my life, but just to listen, to be a friend, to maybe send a voice note to someone to let them know that I'm thinking about them. So there's like all these little things, and I feel like when we're in that moment, we can forget. It's really easy to forget when you're in the emotional wave, but again, it's coming back to that center space, coming back to that groundedness, and just trusting what's going on, what is alive in me today. Like Marshall from Nonviolent Communication says in his book, it's like, what's alive in me right now? What am I feeling? What's in my toolkit? What do I know? What do I know are the things that help me wake up outside of this feeling? And so some other examples could be being in the body, right? So how can we be in the body? We work out, we run, we walk, we dance, we do all these things that are like, oh, wow, I'm in my body. Because sometimes, and this was something that I was totally confused about, like on the spiritual path, is like, this idea of being in the body. It's like we go into the mind, and that's kind of like this place in the ethers. But when we ground ourselves and we come back into the physical form and into the physical body, we allow ourselves to really experience this life as a human being. We can get really stuck and really lost in the what ifs, thinking outside of ourselves. It's like it can get very esoteric and difficult, and we can make up stories. The mind can have its own show and its own party, and we don't always want to hang out in that party place. That's why I really love human design, is because we like to look at the mind as a tool, right? It helps us analyze, it helps us understand, it helps us conceptualize, but it's not the governing force of our experience. So if we can remember that, just like, wow, I'm having that same weird thought, or that same challenging thought, or wow, why did I say it that way? Or why am I thinking this thought? It's like so negative. It's like, how do we jump out of that? How do we say, oh, this is here's the toolbox, this is what I need to do to feel better, to be better, and just trusting in that for yourself. So I would encourage you, if this is something that you're experiencing in your life, to really consider, like, what is in my toolbox? What are the things that lift me out of myself, that bring me joy? Maybe it's calling your best friend. Maybe it's texting your mom. Maybe it's making delicious food for yourself. Or for me, I even put ceremonial cacao, like sitting in circle with Floracer cacao circle, connecting with others, buying myself kombucha. I don't want it always to be, I have to buy something to feel better, but what are some bodily experiences, some pleasurable experiences that are helpful for me to jump outside myself and to be in my body? And those are just a few examples that really work for me. I think lately it's been a lot of reconnecting to the body. I've spent a lot of time connecting to spirit and to kind of like this different realm of consciousness, which is really beautiful, and I really enjoy that practice, but I've been neglecting the body space. So how can I come back to the body? Oh, I can work out. Okay, I can do yoga. Oh my gosh, I can go for a walk. I can go for a run. And it's like knowing what are those tools that can literally get you out of the mind and into this physical body, this true blessing of an experience as a human, just learning and growing along the path. And I'm trying to keep it short because I can really ramble in a good way, and hopefully a helpful and entertaining way. But I wanted to share a card that I pulled from my Soul's Journey lesson cards, and that's adversity. So adversity. I accept the challenges. I accept that challenges are the best way to learn. And so if I go to the adversity page, no one ever said life was going to be easy. Obstacles are presented to you so that you may overcome them. Believe that you will, because if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. Confidence comes to those who have succeeded in conquering adversity, and then the next hurdle won't seem as daunting. Adversity is an opportunity for you to reach out to your soul family. You are not alone in this time of challenge. If you need help, others are waiting to offer assistance. This test may have come into your life to teach you to receive rather than to give. So I really love this card. Sometimes when you pull a card and it's not quite like bliss, joy, love, then you're like, nah, I don't want to see it. But actually, that is the card that you need to see, and we can use different tools, right? This is like a very specific deck that I like to work with, and so it's just really nice to have tools such as this that bring things into light. And so just thinking about adversity, it's like, you know, it's a really powerful card, and it's like making me question, like, how am I overcoming my obstacles? How am I getting through those difficult spots? And like remembering and realizing that the pendulum will always be swinging, right? There's going to be challenges, there's going to be bliss, joy, ecstasy, there's going to be all these things that are happening in our lives, and it's like, how can we find that middle ground and not build ourselves up so high that we're like completely devastated when something totally real happens? And how can we just find that sweet center place that really makes us feel grounded? And it's not a natural way of being for most people, I would say. For myself, I'm definitely a little bit mercurial in that I like to woo, like go from one side to the other, and that's okay. It's just knowing like what are those patternings that I possess, seeing the gifts in others, right? Like my husband is very grounded, very centered, very much in his space, and it's very beautiful to witness. And I'm like, wow, like that's different, right? That's not how I'm expressing myself or how I've come into my own, but it's like I can learn from that and he can learn from me. So it's very fascinating, and it's something that I think is important to talk about, is like we're not alone and that we have each other's backs. We have our own toolkits, and if something in my toolkit is working and it might serve you, then I'm so happy. If something in your toolkit is working, I want to hear about it, right? That's why I love to be inspired by people and their lives and the things that they're doing. It's like, wow, like everyone goes through difficult times. So it's like, how can we utilize things that bring us into a more joyful state, a more present state, a more like, this is who I am and where I'm at right now. It's not always going to be like this, and I'm okay with that, right? Even the joy is temporary, even the bliss is temporary, the pain is temporary. So it's like just being present with whatever is. And I know it's so easy to talk about and so hard to do for many people, myself included. And I think it's just really beautiful when we have opportunities to share our hearts with others and to connect, and just know that you're not alone on this sweet little earth voyage that we're all on, and that there are tools at your disposal that are not harmful to yourself or to others, and to really trust in that wisdom of your internal compass, your internal guidance. And again, that's why I love human design, is because it really teaches us that we all have a way of being in the world that is unique to us, and that certain things will light us up, they will fascinate us. For me, as an ego manifester, my heart just like flows to the things that light me up, and making these videos is one of those things. So I'm trying to really listen and follow into my heart, and that goes into so many different directions. It's not just about the mind, but can be about what are you consuming, right? Like I really love drinking green tea, matcha tea, and it's delicious. Like it tastes great. So it's like, how can I ingest things that are helpful and fruitful and nurturing to me and where I'm at? And it's going to be unique for me as it is for you and every other person that may be watching this, and every single person on the planet, actually. So it's just, we all have our own inner compass, and it's not about morality, what's good and what's bad. It's just about what feels right for me. What am I pulled towards? What am I drawn towards? It's kind of a divine intervention, I feel, and that's something that human design has taught me so much. So I think this is where I'm going to leave off. I wanted to make this under 15 minutes, and I have, so woohoo. But please feel free to share what is in your own personal toolbox. What are the things that lift you up, that shift you into a new energy, a new frequency, a new vibration, a new feeling? What is in your toolbox? And my last little ditty that I want to share is like, write it down, put it in your phone, put it in your notes. Like, these are the things that lift me and shift me. Going for a walk in the park, buying flowers for someone, watching the birds, going to the zoo. I don't know what it is. I'm just kind of rambling at things that I'm thinking about, but we have them. And when we are in the emotional storm, in the emotional waves, right, we need to have a center point. So for me, I have to write it down. It has to exist somewhere so I can look at it and be like, oh, that's what I do when I'm feeling this way. And just taking it one step at a time, being gentle with yourself, being gracious with yourself, being present, getting out of the mind and into the body. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. I hope it was enjoyable. I hope it helped you in some way today, but I'll see you next week, and let me know what is softening and opening up your heart. Thank you so much.